That's good. Are we live?
We're live.
Are we live? Alright then. Hold on.
Alright.
What's up, YouTube? What's up, Instagram? What's up, Spotify?
What's up,
Spotify?
Pulp
Apple
Diction
Podcasts. To all you loyal fans out here.
Right. Welcome back to another episode of the Pulp Diction podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Gibson. Who am I here with?
Jett Ekman.
And
I've been on the podcast before, Grayson Geraldo.
You've been on the podcast before?
Yeah, I have.
The Boys episode, season 4.
Oh, nice. I still haven't watched season 4.
Oh,
I've been meaning to get around to it, yeah.
It was a great season.
Yeah.
It was really
wonderful.
wonderful.
Homelander's kind of a freak.
It's more just setting up season 5, I think.
Definitely. And speaking of Homelander and great superhero performances.
Wow, nice transition there.
Thank you. Would you like to introduce the film we're discussing today?
Today we will be discussing Batman.
The
Batman. The 2022 one.
Released in 2022, starring Robert Pattinson. Directed by Matt Reeves.
Directed by Matt Reeves.
And
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
Welcome to Pulp Diction, the podcast where I talk about movies with my friends for an academic obligation. I'll just start this off. I love this movie so much.
It's awesome. All right, do you like it more than The Dark Knight though?
It depends on the day.
Honestly, that's valid.
Yeah, I think it's might be the best live action depiction of Batman we've had.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Just in his values and just the understanding of the character.
Yeah, because I feel like The Dark Knight focused a lot on the Bruce Wayne aspect of it, this rich dude that is this high tech layer.
Yeah.
But this Batman has the bare minimums of the cave and the bats are still in the cave and stuff.
And I love the theatricality of him. He has the black makeup on. He just gets completely into the persona, and he leaves no room for Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
I think The Dark Knight is more just it's trying to base to the fans that want to see Batman as Batman, but I think the Batman, directed by Matt Reeves, wants to see the reality of Batman.
Oh, yeah.
What Batman really is like.
This is probably the most broken Batman we've seen in on the screen.
Yeah, indeed.
This is Batman at his core is an emotionally repressed, deeply unwell man who really never fully recovered from that night in the alley, which even though we don't see it in the movie, its effects are still so felt.
And because it's it takes place in the early days of his Gotham project, it shows he's not perfect. He makes a lot of mistakes when with the what was the riddle? He got the riddle wrong. But
Rada Alada?
Yeah. He made a lot of mistakes, because he's really new to it.
And some people didn't like that he made mistakes. The glider, when he makes the crash landing, he gets the riddle wrong.
Yeah.
People definitely died when he was chasing the penguin.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Just all this stuff.
Doubt.
And but I actually like that. This is a year 2 Batman, but make no mistake, it's still an origin story. He's learning how to be the best Batman that he can be, especially as he goes through this transformation from a symbol of fear to a symbol of hope, which is what Gotham needs.
Yeah.
What was I about to say? I don't know.
It could be something good.
Probably. I don't know. Whatever. Just everything about this movie. It's so nice to look at too. Just the cinematography.
The Nirvana.
The Nirvana. I love the Nirvana needle drop. Oh my gosh.
Dude, seeing that theaters is crazy.
I know. Dude, every time just so many moments in this movie, I just feel transported back to that theater. March 3rd, 2022.
You got the exact date now?
Heck yeah, dude. Because this is the Batman movie. This is the Batman movie that I've wanted to see since I had any sense of media comprehension beyond Batman, he's so cool, and Noito is the bad guy.
Yeah.
And
how about the Riddler though? How do you feel about him in this movie?
Oh my gosh, Paul Dano, he does such an amazing job. And he's just so unhinged, right?
Yeah, he's the perfect image of an Arkham prison like patient. Like when you think of like the people that are in Arkham, you think of dudes like the Riddler, and it's not like he's like he doesn't have like a bright green like top hat on. He's like a real dude wearing like a military mask.
Yeah, it's like very Zodiac killer.
Yeah. That's what it reminded me of. Like the Zodiac killer with the.
It was very directly inspired by Zodiac, between all the conspiracy stuff and like this is the Riddler Gotham. This is the Riddler speaking. Yeah. Apparently Zodiac said like this is the Zodiac speaking in his letters or something.
Yeah, and I loved how Batman was like a lot more grounded, like in the whole detective thing. Like,
I do love the detective aspects.
He was less of a superhero and more of just like a crime stopper. It made him feel like there could actually be like a Batman.
And I think
like I could be Batman.
Oh, right. But I do hope that they like delve more into the superhero side of it. And like they eased us in with the grounded part. Yeah. But I kind of hope as this trilogy goes on.
Yeah, I think if they have Mr. Freeze in the next movie, I think that was talked about a little bit, right?
It's a rumor.
It's a rumor. If Mr. Freeze is in the next movie, I think that will become a more superhero thing because you get this high-tech dude that can freeze stuff. That's a little more supervillainy than like a Zodiac killer type of thing.
Yeah.
But I would love to see Mr. Freeze.
Oh, so many Batman villains. Like, best rogues gallery in comic books, I think. Like, only one that comes close is, like, Spider-Man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true.
But, like, I mean, Batman's is just unmatched. You know, Joker, Riddler, Clayface, Hush, Bane, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Batman's my second favorite comic superhero.
Who's your first?
Superman.
Yeah.
Would you be excited if in the sequel it would be Joker?
Oh.
Would you be excited for that?
I mean, I wouldn't not be excited. Like, obviously I'd be interested to see it. But, like, we've seen Joker so many times at this point that I really want them to do something different.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, I know he's in the universe because like
they tease him, but like there's a deleted scene
after Heath Ledger Joker, who like the undisputed best Joker of all time, and then Joaquin Phoenix is a fantastic Joker in the first movie. I haven't seen the second movie. I have not heard good things.
I will not be going to the theaters.
But in the first movie, like he's a great Joker. Like after those two Jokers, like how much like better can you get? Like, I just hope they, like, it's fine if he's in the movie, but I hope, like, the main focus is something that we haven't seen yet.
I liked how they did it. There was this deleted scene with Barry Keoghan Joker in this movie where Batman's, like, showing him some of the evidence from the Riddler case. And he's, like, talking to him, like, almost like a Hannibal Lecter type thing in Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, that would be sick.
So I kind of hope they continue with that pattern. And then maybe at the end of the trilogy, they can make him, like, escape Arkham. Or something. Which this Arkham, by the way, is like probably the best Arkham Asylum we've seen in live action.
Oh, especially with the penguin.
Especially with the penguin.
Oh, Sophie Falcone. Is it Sophia or
Sophia?
Sophia Falcone. Yeah.
Which the penguin is such an excellent follow-up. Like we could do a whole episode on that.
Yeah, Grayson, you need to watch the penguin, dude.
I do.
It's so good.
I've tried to get around to it, but
so good.
A lot going on,
but
important guy.
But yeah, like this the best Arkham we've had in live action, probably the best Gotham we've had, aside from maybe the one from Gotham.
Dude, that's got to be one of like the best. Like, so the opening scene was when the Riddler was he was spying on the family.
Yeah,
right?
the binoculars.
Yeah. But then when you got to that part where it's like October 31st.
October 31st.
Yeah, it's rainy in Gotham.
Are crowded for
that is one of like, the coolest. Like
that was the moment I knew I was gonna love this movie.
Yeah, dude, when he dropped the spray paint can and rolled in the darkness, and he just turned around.
Yes, so Matt Reeves and the writers, they understood just this fundamental aspect of Batman so well. It's this fear that Batman holds over the criminals of Gotham, right?
Yeah.
Like. He could be hiding in any one of these shadows. He could be anywhere, and they're all running scared crapless.
Keep it friendly.
Yeah, right. And like, even though he's not even there, right? And it's that fear that's like it's more powerful than any gadget in his arsenal.
Yeah.
And they understand that so well, and they understand everything about Batman just as a character so. In this fundamental way, and it just I oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I love he's not like he doesn't pull his punches.
No.
either. He's not gonna kill
He is
someone.
brutal.
But he'll beat someone to pulp easily.
I know.
Which is like I love it.
And then the extra 2 punches too.
Yeah, when he's
he beat
beating the
one
dude in
guy
the
up.
subway. Yeah, he's like, yeah.
Which I guess that was Pattinson's idea. Like,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Pattinson's
Which
badass.
he did such a good
I
job.
honestly
in
had
the
not even like other than like I haven't seen Twilight, but I knew he was
Yeah.
in Twilight. Other than that, I hadn't seen much of him.
Right,
I
like
don't think.
he was Cedric Diggory.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Goblet of Fire. But like aside from that, I hadn't, and I'm really glad he has like been able to shake his past of like being the Twilight guy.
Yeah. Now he's Batman.
Like now he'll just like 90% of his roles now are just like playing freaks, and this is no exception. Like he
Yeah.
is a freak in
Yeah.
this movie,
Uh-huh.
in the best way possible.
Yeah. And so, wait, I would watch the movie recently. So, does he live in a mansion or is it like a penthouse?
I think it's like a penthouse.
Because
Yeah.
when the bomb went
Like-
off, it blew up the side of the building.
Yeah, no. So I think they wanted to do something a little different. So they put him in this like giant building, almost like towering over the rest of the city,
Yeah.
where he's kind of looking down on them, like he kind of is
Okay,
Gotham
yeah,
royalty, right? So he does have kind of that disconnect from the lower classes, which is what kind of the conflict of this movie stems from. Is Riddler trying to expose like the disconnect between upper
Yeah,
and
just
lower
how
classes?
like alienated they
Yeah.
are. Like, oh man, I could use this for my Marxist comparison.
You
It
could.
basically is.
But what I find really interesting is that, so, you know, he finds, he doesn't realize the Riddler's true plan with the bombs until the cop points out that
It's a carpet.
it's a carpet
yeah.
tucker. And it's such a good symbol,
Yeah.
like the murder weapon, because here is like a tool of manual labor, of like something, a job
working
generally
class.
like the working class would do. So it's no wonder he didn't recognize it. It's no wonder he couldn't solve the puzzle, because he doesn't have that connection
Yeah.
with the lower classes. So he realizes like he needs to
Use the tools.
use the tools. He needs to make that connection with the people rather than just being a vengeful force, you know?
Yeah.
So what I kind of have been a little like confused about. So the Riddler, his whole goal was to expose,
Yeah.
like the higher ups and stuff, and how
And then he
dirty they
bombs
are.
lower class
Yeah, and then he
neighborhoods.
ends up like bombing the lower class neighborhoods, and you've seen the Penguin how much they're affected by
Oh,
that.
yeah,
and,
they
like,
are
their lives.
ruined.
Yeah. So what is he? What was his message
So
there? I don't really like.
here's how I thought it was interesting. I it's always confused me too. But like I've been thinking about it, and what I think is that so he's trying to highlight, like reveal to everybody just how disconnected the rich are, right? And the rich, they're up in their towers, they're
Yeah, they're all
unaffected by the
safe.
flood. They're all safe, and all the poor, they're the ones that are affected. So I think he wants to like build that sort of resentment from the poor to the rich.
Yeah, he's like trying to spread his movement more, like with the protests and stuff of like the.
Like he's
the
showing
question
them,
mark
he's showing
symbols.
them all these problems that affect you. They don't care about because they're not affected.
Yeah.
You know, or he's just crazy. Like he's not mentally.
I feel like
he's not well.
It's like he's a calculated crazy.
He
He's
is.
Like, he knows what
That's
he's
a good
saying.
way to
He's
say
trying to
it.
get like
Unhinged.
start a revolution. Of
He
some
is.
sort.
Yeah, he's
like,
trying to
just
get.
like communist
And he kind of
revolutions.
does. He has 500 followers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always laugh when they talk about like his internet following.
Oh, dude! Whenever like a movie like tries to put some type of internet, like in the new Penguin episode when he opened up TikTok, I was just like, it's kind of funny.
Yeah,
That's how he found.
I thought they did that well.
Yeah, no, they did it well. It was just funny saying like TikTok in
Yeah,
a movie.
it
or
is.
Oh, excuse me.
But yeah, there's also the thing with like he tries to have his followers kill what was her name, Bella Real, the mayor,
the candidate for the
candidate.
mayor.
Well, she becomes mayor, doesn't because the other guy dies. I don't know.
I think it was just implied. She was
Yeah,
there.
Yeah, she was like basically like that.
But she's the one like that's actually trying to change the city, right? She's trying to like get rid of the renewal project, which is basically this money laundering scheme for all the criminals.
Yeah.
So
he tried to.
But he tries to kill her.
Yeah.
even though she's like working against the same conspiracy he's trying to expose. So
I think he's kind of self-centered in that he wants it his way. Maybe a little bit. Because, like, he grew up without parents, like, in the home that wasn't funded by the Waynes, which would have been
Right,
but they got
the
killed.
cold orphanage,
Cold
babies
orphanage.
dying.
Yeah. It's just like he's had to fight to be the best.
Oh, yeah.
Survival of the fittest.
Yeah, maybe because he's just like kind of like unfairly grouping. Like you have the peasants in the lower class and you have the upper class, and he's just
Like he's a man
just,
of
like,
extremes.
throwing her in
Hello.
I'm missing him.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing a podcast.
Where were we? Riddler. Oh yeah, why he kills Royale. Yeah, I think that's a good point. Like he says all these things, all these ideals, but inside he really is like kind of a narcissistic kind of personality. He just wants to be seen. He wants to be known, like he hasn't been his entire life. And
and I feel like that's what separates him from like Batman. Like obviously he does a lot of bad things.
Which there are. Yes.
Yeah. So, but he wants to take out the rich people. But by doing that, he kind of turns into what he's like trying to defeat. Like he turns into like ruining the lower class and stuff. But Batman doesn't he doesn't really stoop to the level of the villains he's killing because he's fighting because he doesn't kill them. You know. Like,
but Batman also realizes like there's a very fine line between him and Riddler, and the movie makes a very big point out of like drawing all these parallels between the two. Like Riddler spies on people through binoculars, Batman spies on people through binoculars. Riddler comes out of the shadows and kills someone, Batman comes out of the shadows and kicks someone's ass.
Yeah. And they've got like both got the masks.
The masks and just he really punctuates it with "I'm vengeance" at the end from the follower, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like finally making him realize I've been sending a message, but it hasn't been it's been the wrong message to the wrong people.
Yeah.
I love the music in the whole movie. Like Something in the Way
like
is used so well,
the
but also like
score.
the score,
Great.
Michael Giacchino.
It just matches like the movie perfectly.
Like Riddler's theme with like Ave Maria blended into this like sinister.
Yeah, that opening when it's does it play in the opening scene?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that was
gosh.
insane. And at the time when you're first watching it, you have no idea what's happening. You just hear creepy breathing, like spine.
It's like a horror movie.
Yeah, it is.
It's like Silence of the Lambs or something.
Honestly.
And this is like closer to a thriller like that than it is to most superhero
No, it
films.
really is. And like the creepy Halloween masks.
This is one of my favorite Halloween movies. Like I'll just say it. It's a Halloween movie.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Thursday.
To all the loyal Pulp Diction followers.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I wanted to do this movie was because of the monologue. And Halloween's on a Thursday this year, so it's Thursday, October 31st. The city streets are crowded.
You
for the
think it's
holiday.
too late to get a Batman costume?
A good one, probably. But like,
I mean, I don't need a good one.
you can borrow my mask.
Okay, awesome. I'm getting a Batman costume. Yes, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, go.
Awesome.
Go.
I can be
roam
your
the
Joker.
streets.
Awesome.
Oh, can I be your Robin?
Okay. Does that mean I can call you Dick?
Yeah, I'll wear the
You have to wear
I'll wear the
underwear
booty
and
shorts.
spandex. Oh my gosh. No, I'm surprised you don't have a Robin costume.
More of a Nightwing guy.
Dude, okay, but speaking of Nightwing, like, how cool would it be? Because I feel like Nightwing would fit this universe perfectly.
I hope they do a Robin.
Yeah, so Nightwing, it's because he was tortured by the Joker, right? It was like Robin that was tortured by the Joker. Was that it?
That was Jason Todd. Jason Todd, the second Robin, was
I'm not that
kidnapped
deep
and
in the
tortured by
comics.
Joker. He died, and then like 30. Well, he died because the fans vote. Like they put it up to a vote for the fans. Like, should Robin live or die? And they voted for him to die. Well, because one guy called like 500 times because he really wanted him dead. And so,
my gosh.
So Jason Todd was dead for like 30 years or something until they finally brought him back as the Red Hood. When Superboy Prime punched the fabric of the universe, and
Yeah, so let's get a little creepy.
Anyway.
So this universe, there's no superpowers or anything, correct? There's no like.
not yet.
Not yet. How would you like? I like how like realistic.
I like
it
the
is,
groundedness.
but I don't know. If there was like a poison ivy or something, I don't know how I'd feel.
I feel like I said earlier, I think the groundedness is could be a good gateway into more like maybe getting more gradually, more unrealistic. Because like, look at the gadgets in this movie. It's relatively it's still like sci-fi,
Like
right?
a wingsuit.
Like
It's
he has the
something that can be
wingsuit.
pulled off.
Yeah,
He has the camera contact lens. That's the big one of this movie.
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, that's a
Like
cool one.
it's futuristic, but it's like feasible, right?
Yeah.
I feel like
And
Robin.
I think they could introduce more futuristic stuff as this series goes on. Just as long, my rule for Batman gadgets is like they need to stay more on like James Bond type gadgets rather than like Star Trek type.
Yeah, once it starts getting into lasers and stuff, it's kind of weird. I mean, I think if Robin were like to come in this universe, I feel like he'd be a good like, because traditionally Robin wears like the bright clothes and stuff. Yeah, it would be interesting to see, because I feel like he'd be a good like kind of contrast to Batman if he were like a little brighter. But then again, like
that's what Robin is.
Yeah,
right? He's the brightness that he needs.
Yeah, like I'm curious to see how this universe would do it and like what that, because I mean he's definitely been talked about a little bit. Like if they were to bring him in, I wonder who would play him. Who'd be a good Robin? Dylan.
Hire me. I'll be Robin.
I don't even know.
Yeah, that's hard because
I am curious to see where they go.
I would not be good at casting.
Pattinson's kind of young.
Yeah.
So I feel like if he had a kid,
so Robin would probably maybe have to.
The thing
wait
is,
till,
Batman
like,
was actually kind of young when he got his first Robin.
Yeah. I didn't even know he had different Robins.
There have been so many.
Like how many? Like
let's see. Okay, Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, Stephanie Brown,
and
Carrie Kelly.
Batman, only one Batman.
Dick Grayson was Batman for a little while when Bruce Wayne died. There was actually a whole battle for the. Never mind.
Are these all from just comics you've read?
I'm kind of a comic book poser. I get most of my information off YouTube and Wikipedia.
Oh, gotcha.
I like the motif of like eyes in the movie, like you see the POV shots with the binoculars, the contact lenses.
When the shot when the Riddler's about to kill the guy, you see his shadow of his body, but his eyes just kind of pop.
It's very Michael Myers.
Kind of pop. They're just there. What else is there?
And I should have thought more beforehand about like what that's supposed to represent. Maybe just like perspectives, right? Like Batman's perspective versus Riddler's.
Yeah.
And like I don't know.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
And how Batman like kind of forces himself to like rewatch what he does. Like
he has to live it all over again.
I mean, if you were to think about it a lot more, it probably represents something.
Definitely. Which I love like all the different symbols in this movie. Yeah. There's a lot of religious symbolism, I think. Like
what?
So the big one, I think, you know when he falls into the water at the end of the movie? Like, it's a baptism. Hear me out. Okay, so this is actually a take I saw from like a priest on TikTok, like around the time the movie came out. And I loved this take so much. He falls into the water as a symbol of fear, right?
Oh, and he leads them out with the flame.
Emerges with the flame as a reborn. He's now a symbol of hope for Gotham City.
Oh, dude, I like
he's
that.
born again. He's a new man, right?
That's actually crazy. I never thought about that before. Yeah, because he leads all the people out of the water. They all follow him.
Right.
So it's like he's
almost
support.
like
he's not a vigilante anymore. He's a hero.
And like he's almost like a Christ figure for Gotham. Like he makes that sacrifice of like cutting the wire to fall into the water, and also like he's called the Prince of Gotham.
Yeah.
Do you think then if they do introduce Robin, they'll kill Batman and Robin has to take his place?
I don't think so. Maybe at the end of the trilogy they'll kill Batman.
Yeah.
But like that won't happen for a long time.
And when's the next one supposed to come out? Like, it got pushed back, didn't it?
I think they finally finished the script.
Jeez.
And they're starting filming next year, I think.
Oh my gosh.
Jeez, it was supposed to be like this year originally.
No, that sucks.
Yeah. I mean, the original got delayed 1,000,000 times too.
Yeah, I mean, well,
it was worth
take
it.
as much time as
honestly
you need to make something like that.
Like if it's anywhere near as good as the first one, like I'll be happy. What was it? Oh yeah, religious symbolism. There's Ave Maria in the Riddler theme. That's like a song about like Hail Mary or something.
What is that? Like what language is that?
Latin, Catholic. Grayson, can you look up Ave Maria, like what language it is?
Ave Maria.
Because I've heard that before.
Yeah.
Where language? Let's see. It's on a school Chromebook.
Catholic prayer in Latin. Okay.
Latin.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb.
Which
Jesus.
I wonder why they put that into Riddler's theme. Like it is just kind of a creepy motif.
Yeah.
But also like they wouldn't
He starts singing it too, right?
At the end of it,
at
the end of it says, "Pray for us sinners now at the hour of our death."
Ooh. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. He does start singing it in Arkham. which is such a good scene too.
Oh yeah.
I love the way that's shot. Like there's this one shot where like you see his reflection like on top of Pattinson.
Yeah, and it's like, and then the music starts building up, and he's like banging on the.
And that misdirect too. Like he goes in there thinking like he's found out, right? Because he sees the board. Like
he's like, oh, you don't
like,
know yet.
It's everything's about to be exposed. Like Bruce Wayne, but he's going Bruce Wayne. Do you think that was a clever misdirect, or was it just kind of manipulative?
Yeah. You see, I don't. Did the Joker or not the Joker? Did the Riddler? Did he know it was Bruce Wayne the whole time?
No.
So he figured out when he.
No, he didn't figure it out. He's like Bruce Wayne, and Pattinson's acting is so subtle. Like you can tell, he looks at the camera, and like he's like, I've been found out. He's just looking at the ground. It's over.
Yeah.
But then Riddler says he's the only one we didn't get, and then his entire demeanor.
Okay.
It's so subtle, but his whole demeanor changes.
Yeah.
I love Pattinson's acting in this.
Yeah. I feel like the Riddler. I don't know. I feel like he's portrayed as this crazy dude, but he knows what's going on. Like I feel like that might.
A good Riddler is like very smart. I don't know. I think it was a little manipulative of the filmmakers.
Yeah,
but like I think in a good way. Like you're going through it with like Batman's going through it. Yeah. I love that the last thing he says to Gordon before he goes to meet Riddler and he thinks he's about to get exposed is "You're a good cop."
Yeah, because he's like saying goodbye. But like.
We're chilling, right? Yeah, the music stops when he goes like, he's the only one we didn't get. And I love how Batman kind of like crashes out at Riddler, and Riddler crashes out too. Like, no.
Yeah.
This is not how this was supposed to go.
Paul Dano is so great.
Dude,
he reminded me of like his role in Prisoners a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Paul Dano, he's another actor that just plays a bunch of freaks.
Yeah. He's kind of like, what else has he played?
He was in Little Miss Sunshine. He was really good in that. He plays this like.
Is he the weird brother?
He's the weird brother who like takes a vow of silence because he wants to be. I won't spoil it, but it's a really good movie. What else have I seen Paul Dano in? Shoot, I don't know.
I saw him in some movie. It was like he has billions. He's making billions of dollars or something. I forgot. I don't know. What it's called.
Was it that?
Oh,
what about the Reddit thing?
Yeah,
he was in There Will Be Blood.
That's
right.
Like the crazy religion.
The crazy priest. Eli. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I love There Will Be Blood. We need to do an episode on that.
Yeah, I was gonna say and I know a lot more about that because
we had to write a freaking essay.
So I could talk a lot more about that one.
But yeah, Paul Dano's great. I think he draws like inevitable comparisons to Heath Ledger, who is the GOAT. But I think he differentiates himself enough to be like his own thing. Yeah, and in such an amazing way.
Yeah, I mean, I've never there's been nothing like him before, really.
Yeah, but let's see. I love how Batman says like, "You're sick, twisted. You think you'll be remembered? You're a pathetic psychopath." Begging for attention, you're gonna die alone.
And that's when he went like.
And that's when Riddler goes kind of crazy.
I know. Street test rates drop.
Oh.
I got 86.
Okay.
I got a 78.
We're checking the test grades. We'll be back in a sec, Pulp Diction listeners.
Where were we?
That's a fantastic question.
Let's start with a random bullet point here.
Okay, yeah, pick one.
Okay, this is a good exercise. Ready?
Oh, I like this one.
You're sick, twisted.
I just talked about that. Oh, yeah. So we are back. Thank you, Grayson. So I remember what I was going to say about this. It's like kind of funny, like the way Riddler freaks out in reaction to this
crashes
after
out
he just roasts him. But on this watch, this is the first time I've thought about this. I almost wonder if like he was projecting a little bit, like all these things. You're a twisted psychopath who's going to die alone. He might have been talking about himself too.
Yeah, he's like worried about that because he went there thinking like he's done being the Batman. You know, like he said, to Gordon, like you're a good cop.
Yeah, like you're a twisted psychopath begging for attention, and like he is. It is kind of a cry for attention. The Batman.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like he never think about that book we're reading in English, The Assault, right?
Yeah.
He experiences this trauma, and he's kind of trapped in that emotional state.
Forever.
Because Bruce Wayne was so little when that happened to him. It's just like always affecting
Which
him.
is why, like, even though you don't see the death of Thomas and Martha Wayne in this movie, like, the impact of it is still just so visible throughout.
But like opposite of the assault, though, instead of like try to like suppress like his like, I assume there's like he still falls in the well, and there's still like or there's still bats.
He finds it all
maybe
somehow.
some type of bat.
Yeah.
It's not a sewer hole because the bat cave is directly under his thing.
Yeah, it's like an abandoned train station, which is a really cool aesthetic.
Yeah, it's sick. But like he embraces his fear, and that turns him into who he is.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, he's able to like kind of turn it into good, but he's also still like haunted by that fear because he's living in it every day.
Yeah, and he is constantly haunted by it. He's kind of almost forcing himself at a certain point to be like to relive it because he feels this obligation to do it.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's almost like he feels guilty for how rich he is and stuff, and how like he's above everyone. Like he feels like it's his obligation to like
his parents died, but he was still well off. Whereas like everybody else whose parents
like
died,
Riddler was an orphan.
Was just killed.
He was.
It was just like they all died.
So they used they used Something in the Way by Nirvana twice in the movie. Once
he's riding the motorcycle.
Towards the beginning, as he's like, I think that's after the crime scene investigation, right? The one with was it the mayor that died? Whatever it was,
something like that.
After you see the kid that found him, and
he like sees himself kind of like relating to that.
I
kid,
know,
like,
and Pattinson's acting is so subtle again, but
it's
so
just like
you can tell
looking up
exactly what he's thinking.
You think that kid might turn into Robin?
Maybe it's
not
like out of the realm of possibility.
And like he saved the kid when the bomb went off, right? That was around the dude's neck. Like
it's when the car goes. I love that. Like his first instinct, he tackles the kid to get him out of the way.
Yeah.
That's Batman. That's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I cut you off. You were saying Nirvana.
What was that? Yeah, there's that first Nirvana needle drop after that, and they use it again towards the end of the movie, when he's like helping people out of the water, and like the helicopter gets the lady.
Yeah, so it fits the theme of the movie, but I also feel like Something in the Way like is a little symbolic there, just like the name of the song, just like kind of hinting at some type of obstacle or something.
Something like it needs to be overcome.
There's something in the way. Yeah.
And I think there are a lot of different ways you could interpret it. Like he's something in the way of like Riddler, this obsession with like fear and vengeance is in the way of like truly helping Gotham. Which is why I think like. The first use of Something in a Way, it's like almost cynical, like it's this cold, dark look at the city. But then they use it again towards the end, and it's almost like it ends on a much like a more
higher
hopeful, higher note.
Like
it even merges into like the orchestral soundtrack, and like it goes kind of hopeful. And it's I don't know, it's very interesting. Like how they use it 2 times, but in 2 very different ways.
It'd be sick if they used like "Come as You Are."
I really hope they continue like Nirvana or just this grungy type.
Yeah, just like that type of music.
Yeah. Oh, I liked how he had a diary. Like it's a neat device to show like where exactly this narration's coming from.
Yeah.
I almost wonder if it'll come up in like a sequel, like someone finds his identity by finding the diary.
Maybe in the last part of the trilogy.
But also I like you notice Riddler has a diary too, again adding to the parallels between the two.
Yeah, they have like their own diaries.
And Riddler writes something like, I know now what I must become, which is like a very Batman statement, like I know what I must become to get this message across, to spread fear.
They're foils.
They absolutely are.
Yeah.
They absolutely are foils.
Yeah. It's almost like they have like almost similar motivations, where you can look at it like Riddler wants to take down the rich and famous, and Batman they both want to get rid of bad people, basically. Yeah. But the Riddler just goes about it in a completely different way than Batman.
Oh, totally. Like he takes it to an extreme. He kills, obviously, and Batman doesn't, which is a big thing.
Yeah.
Do you think that's the clear separate between them? Riddler kills, Batman doesn't?
Probably the big one, and like towards the beginning, even after Riddler has killed, and Batman's talking with Gordon about whatever victim it was. Gordon says something like, "You almost talk like he had it coming," and Batman's just like, "Well, he was corrupt.
Yeah.
He was a cop.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have been corrupt." So he kind of almost sympathizes with Riddler,
Yeah.
and like what he's doing.
And like his whole thing is like vengeance.
Yeah.
Like coming back. Like he deserved that. Like it was like the revenge coming back. And,
Right.
like, getting them. Like, yeah.
And but by the end, he finally realizes like vengeance isn't the answer. Like vengeance and justice are two different things, right?
Yeah.
And vengeance isn't gonna to get you anywhere. Like because remember what he talks about at the beginning. Like his goal has been vengeance all this time. These 2 years.
Like he's almost known as vengeance in the movie. Like they refer to him as vengeance.
Almost joking. Like Penguin calls him vengeance.
Yeah.
Selena Kyle kind of.
Oh, dude, Penguin is so awesome.
Oh yeah.
So cool.
Kind of Selena kind of flirtingly, jokingly calls him vengeance.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
I wonder how she'll be involved. Do you think there'll be a
Zoe.
romantic affair? What?
I don't know what that is. Yeah, we're talking about Catwoman. Zoe Kravitz does such a great job in this movie. Everyone does a great job. Zoe Kravitz, Jeffrey Wright as Jim Gordon.
Yeah.
Who's that? Colin Farrell Penguin, of course. He's unrecognizable, and he does equally well, if not more so, in the Penguin series, where he's the main focus.
That show's so good.
Oh my, it's amazing. But yeah, I think I like his relationship with Selena in the movie.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of weird too, because it's like this connection that he's never had in his life.
Yeah.
So he doesn't know how to handle it.
And he doesn't really show any feelings when he has the mask on, or really at all, except when he's with her. Like it's like a different side.
Right. And she's like flirting. It's kind of funny too. She'll like flirt with him. Like, "What are you horribly scarred under there?" He'll just Which again, that's another line that's like it's funny, but also it's true. Like he is scarred, not physically, but like he is deeply emotionally scarred. And then Penguin is a very cool character.
Yeah, I mean he's literally scarred across his face.
Yes,
I wonder what that is from.
I think he was just born that way. In most iterations, he was just born that way, as like kind of a freak.
Lots of freaks in this movie.
Yeah, there are a lot of freaks.
Yeah, I mean it's Gotham City, you know.
Gotham's freaky.
It is.
I love like the organized crime aspect of Batman.
Yeah,
like it's just
like these.
There's no other superhero that
I know the early year Batman stories with these like where he's fighting the crime syndicates.
Yeah, the crime families.
Like I know, just street level superheroes. I love them fighting against crime, like Daredevil, Spider-Man. What else is there? Are definitely others. Punisher.
I've never seen the Punisher.
I watched the first season, which was amazing, and Daredevil might be the best superhero show ever. But that's an episode for another day.
Yeah.
Talk about religious imagery. My gosh. I mean, he is Catholic, so. I liked Thumb Drive. Like
that was clever.
That was awesome. Like
when we just said Thumb Drive.
Like who says this movie's not funny?
Yeah,
it's a funny movie.
It's got a lot of comedic relief.
Yeah, I like Batman's quips in general in this movie were like, again, subtle, but like they were good. I like that suit's gonna get all full of blood, and he goes, "Mine are yours." And just all the action sequences in the movie.
Dude, when it's like it was so like John Wick-esque, like the flashing lights in the club.
When Batman goes into a nightclub, you know it's about to get real.
Dude, he was honestly just like John Wick minus the killing in this movie. Like it was like he was like
he's so brutal.
Yes, dude.
Like it's this calculated brutality that every good Batman needs to have.
And like in like the lack of words. You know how John Wick is like
he's like a silent that Baba Yaga.
Yeah. It's just he was like
he moves around. He's like a spirit of vengeance. That's Ghost Rider. He's a force of vengeance. He's this just force of nature, you know. He's just moving around almost like a bat, and it's awesome. I think I still think Ben Affleck probably had the best Batman action sequences. Like, look at the warehouse scene.
Honestly, I have not seen like Batman vs Superman or Justice League.
I did. It was a
You
long
haven't seen
time
him at
ago.
all?
No,
I remember it was just kind
I
of.
haven't seen him in a long time. I wasn't the biggest fan.
Yeah, I know he's got like the high powered bat suit and stuff, and I just like.
And then there's Save Martha and all this.
Yeah.
I'll watch it again one day, but I'm not the biggest fan of Zack Snyder. But yeah, the nightclub where he's just tearing through, and then later on when he comes back to the nightclub as Bruce Wayne, and they just let him through. Like, he's starting to find the value in the Bruce Wayne persona just as much as the Batman persona, which we saw much more of in the Christopher Nolan films.
Yeah, because he uses his status as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, to get places. I'm buying this hotel, and I'm making some changes to the pool regarding the pool area.
Yeah, I mean, like Pattinson is so good, but the Christian Bale. They're so different, but they're both so good.
Oh yeah, like I could talk about these both Batman depictions of Batman for days.
Yeah,
but I won't. But yeah, Christian Bale. Like what I loved about Christian Bale is he almost incorporates elements of like Patrick Bateman in his Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, because it's like just like
this
the billionaire,
eccentric billionaire,
playboy.
Yeah, like living a double life, right? This like.
But I think Pattinson does a better representation of Bruce Wayne because Batman is the main identity of Batman, Bruce Wayne, whatever you want to call him.
Right.
Whereas in Dark Knight and the Christopher Nolan series, like
Bruce Wayne
seems almost unbothered.
It's just a flip of a switch. It's not.
Yeah.
I am Batman.
Whereas here, like Batman, Batman and
is,
Bruce Wayne personas are kind of melting together. He hasn't learned how to do one and the other yet.
Yeah, that could be like a representation of how the Christian Bale Batman in the Dark Knight is a lot farther down the timeline as Batman. Other than besides like the Robert Pattinson Batman, who's in his first 2 years, he hasn't learned how to live the double life yet. He's living one life that has aspects.
He doesn't have that work-life balance.
Yeah. He needs to manage his stress better.
He needs a planner, I think.
Yeah, he does.
Organization tools.
Yeah, I do think we're gonna get to see more of Bruce Wayne being like Bruce Wayne in the sequels. But and you did say like Batman, like Bruce. You know, it's a common idea. Like Batman is the real face and Bruce Wayne is the mask. Even Riddler references this. Like we all know, I'm looking at the real you right now.
Yeah.
And I've subscribed to that belief for a long time. But as I've gotten on and on, I've kind of like I believe he believes that Batman's the real him. But like you think about it. Inside, deep down, he is still Bruce Wayne. He is still that boy in the alley, mourning over his parents. And like, think about it too. We were talking about Robin. If it's just Batman in there, then why did he adopt Robin? Why would he go out of his way to help this kid? Like, he needs to be a little Bruce Wayne if he wants to help people, and not just be the force of vengeance.
Yeah, I could totally see that orphan turning into Robin, like the one that was Robin an orphan too.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I mean, I know that from Lego Batman. Talk about portrayals of Batman. Lego Batman is where it's at.
Oh,
the best Batman of all time.
It's up there. Dare I say, I haven't disliked a depiction of Batman in I'll say it. I even liked George Clooney in Batman and Robin.
Oh, is that the one from the weird one from the 60s? Or?
No, that was Adam West, who I also love.
That one, I grew up like.
Oh yeah.
For some reason, I grew up watching that. I grew up in like the 2010s, and I was watching.
It would always be on like this one network. I can't remember which one.
I had it recorded on my DirecTV, and I just watch it, and it'd be Batman and Robin's got this like spandex on. He'd be like, "Look, Robin, they're drinkers." And
golly,
the bat shark repellent. Like,
yes, it was so good. It was like that captures perfectly like the camp and craziness of like these stupid golden age or silver age comics.
Gosh, yes, bro.
And then I thought Batman and Robin with George Clooney, everybody hates it. I thought it was basically like an episode of the Adam West series as like a 90s movie with an overinflated budget. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger is Mr. Freeze. He goes, "Want to kill the dinosaurs? The Ice Age." Uma Thurman's Poison Ivy, who are two villains
Uma Thurman?
that would like
That's
it,
Kill Bill.
it makes no,
Yeah, no, she's
it would
awesome.
make no sense for them to team up, but it's fine, it's whatever, nobody cares. They just wanted to sell like McDonald's toys.
Gotta make it bad.
But anyway, like I've liked every depiction of Batman in movies, I think.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting quite hungry. I'm working up quite the appetite.
Maybe perhaps a little luncheon.
Yeah. All right.
All right. If you couldn't tell, we filmed most of this episode at school. We had a nice little pretty free day. It was pretty great, pretty awesome. And we went to lunch, and then we came back, and we didn't really have time to do any more. And we were getting close to finishing it off anyway, so I guess I figured I'd do it here, because they didn't really care enough to accompany me on the conclusion. And also, it's very late at night. And yeah, just all this stuff got in the way. I'd donate blood. I volunteered to do that. That was fun. Anyway, I'll just do it alone. But first, we gotta do a little bit of that. Oh yeah. Oh, that's the stuff. Audio listeners, love you to death. I'm in character now. I am the knight. I'll just go over whatever I don't remember going over, like that I wanted to. I think we went over a lot of good points, a lot of the ones I wanted to do, anyway. I was very excited to watch this movie for the 4th time. I saw it the day it came out in theaters. I saw it a few months later when it came out at home. And I saw it again at home when my mom wanted to watch it, so I was watching it with her. And I saw it again just now for the Halloween season. And this is one of my favorite Halloween movies, and it is a Halloween... I mean, obviously it's a Halloween movie. Why wouldn't it be a Halloween movie? Most Batman movies can be considered one, but I think this is the most Halloween of every Batman movie that has been. I'll just go through this. I got my notes right here. Printed out a physical copy for the school recording. I've printed out a physical copy for most of these now. I don't know, I like it. I kind of like how... Anyway, I thought it was interesting how in the beginning they set up Bella Real wanting to stop the renewal program, which I like how they mentioned it's responsible for the seawalls. Like, that's kind of funny. But the program's starred by Thomas Wayne, and he's not in this movie, but his legacy is all over it. And like I think I said in the previous recording, like, you don't get to see the murder of the Waynes. We don't need to at this point. It's mythology, you know. But we don't see Thomas Wayne alive, but like his fingerprints are all over this movie. And yeah, it's some beautiful irony that Real wants to stop the program that is responsible for the seawalls. Oh, there's just the reveal of Riddler being behind the guy at the beginning. And like you can't see Paul Dano. I talked a lot about Pattinson's acting, a little bit about Dano's, but Paul Dano does so amazingly because you can't really see his face aside from his eyes, right? But his eyes are so full of this just insane joy to be there because he knows what he's about to do and he's going to get so much pleasure out of it. He's just so unwell. He's a psychopath, okay? And oh man, maybe a I don't know. I do kind of wonder why he used duct tape. Like, that's interesting to me. I'm sure there's some symbolism behind it. I didn't really think too much about it. Maybe it was just to be creepy and kind of cool, give him a little serial killer shtick. But, like, I mean, I'm thinking duct tape, he's completely covering his face, right? It's airtight. No more lies. So I guess he doesn't want anything to escape. I don't know. It's sticky. The truth sticks to him even when he tries to avoid it. I don't know. Maybe that's stupid. When that light hits the sky, it's not just a call, it's a warning to them. I think I said this before. But I'll say it again because I don't care. That opening monologue was the moment I fell in love with this movie. Matt Reeves understands this fundamental element of the character of Batman so well, and he understands so much more about Batman just as well, and it's that understanding that carries this entire movie beginning to end in such an amazing way. Just the best one of the best depictions we've had of the world's greatest detective, the Dark Knight, the Caped Crusader, whatever you want to call him, the goat, Bat Goat. They think I'm hiding in the shadows, but I am the shadows. Oh yeah. I love how they gave the kid gang member at the beginning with like the clowns like only half makeup to show how he's like not fully in it yet. He's not fully initiated, which is what they're about to try to do, is initiate him, right? They're trying to make him beat the guy up for no reason. And I do like that they made him clowns, like already kind of alluding to Joker, playing on our expectations a little bit, you know? That's really cool. The shot of him rising up to face them, oh my gosh, there are so many good shots in this movie. I wanted to ask my friends what their favorite shots were. I'm not sure they would have had an answer. I'm not sure I have an answer. I think it's two different reasons, though. There's so many shots. They just look peeled off the pages of a comic book, you know, in the best way possible. Like, some movies just have that sort of aesthetic that just pops. I think this goes in that category. John Wick goes in that category. All four of them. 4 especially. John Wick 4 is my favorite. I want to do an episode on John Wick 4, but that's for another day. And like, oh my gosh, and they play just other things too, like the fight scenes in this movie we talked about. I think I really wanted to talk about just the one shot of him going down the hallway with its complete just blackness, and the only light comes from the muzzle flashes. It's so cool. And like I said something like, this is the Batman movie I've wanted since I was a kid. And like, that shot is something I'd imagined before this movie. I'm like, wouldn't it be the coolest thing ever if there was a shot of just like, you only see Batman with the muzzle flashes and it's just dark and blah 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 blah. I'm sure I got from somewhere. I don't know that I'm creative enough to come up with that myself. Maybe I am, or maybe it's a great minds thing. I don't know. Whatever. But I saw that shot in the theater. I'm like, they did it! They did it! And I'm trying not to be too loud. It's 10:44 at night. My dad's trying to sleep in the next room, and so is my mom. Yeah, it's fine. It's whatever. I am the night. Talking about that opening scene after he beats up the clowns, and the guy that they were gonna beat up is like cowering on the ground, like, please don't hurt me. It's so fascinating how he's spreading this message of fear, but it's like it's getting the wrong people. Like, the criminals these criminals at least weren't even scared. As we saw seconds earlier, a lot of criminals are scared. But like, the message is getting the right people, but also the wrong people. And we see even more of the wrong people getting the wrong message, with, of course, towards the end, with the Riddler follower repeating his own words, right? I'm vengeance. And kind of, you know, the vicious cycle that vengeance creates, right? Oh my goodness gracious. I like how Officer Martinez, the same one who tried to stop Batman from the crime scene and calls him a freak, he's later the one who's excited to see Bruce Wayne at the funeral, right? Like, Mr. Wayne. Like, I don't know, I thought that was funny, just, like, you know, the duality, right? Like, different reactions when seeing the same person, but they think it's different people. And again, with, I remember I did definitely bring up him going into the club as the Iceberg Lounge as Bruce Wayne, right? This Batman's possibly the most broken we've ever seen in live action. I'm pretty sure I went over that. Kid found him, Nirvana. I wish I could say I'm making a difference, but I don't know. The city's eating itself. Maybe it's beyond saving, but I have to try. Push myself. I love this monologue. I love his monologues, his narration so much. It's so just gothic, right? It sounds exactly like something you'd read in the pages of a Batman comic. And I love it for that. Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it. I talked about the contact lens, the diary. Andy Serkis is a great Alfred, and I can now say I've seen more of Matt Reeves' films than just this. I've seen all the Planet of the Apes movies now, and those are insanely good. It's absurd, and Andy Serkis is absurdly good. Matt Reeves is insane. Everyone's insane, and I'm sure Matt Reeves thought of Andy Serkis, and it's great to see Serkis do this, and I love Serkis in everything he's been in. Like, ever since Lord of the Rings, he's been just amazing. He's a miracle of an actor, you know? And he's a great Alfred, and I've loved every Alfred that I've seen in live action, I think, from Michael Gough, the original from the Keaton and Vilmer and Clooney films. He was good. I liked whoever it was in the Adam West show. Michael Caine, obviously. Oh my goodness. Like, probably my favorite, but I will say, shoot, what was his name? He's related to the third Doctor Who, I believe, from Gotham. The one who played Alfred in Gotham is insane. Easily in my top 2 Alfreds. Okay? He was so good. Gotham is such a good show. I never finished it. I need to finish Gotham. But, yeah. That's a great Alfred. Andy Serkis is a great Alfred. I love every Alfred. Damn, the eyeshadow is so interesting. The sunglasses, too, in broad day, in, like, the morning, inside. Like, how just... He's such a diva in this movie, okay? And I love him for it. Thumb drive. Yeah, Bruce really is an emotionally stunted boy, and now he's in his emo phase, right? When Batman enters a nightclub, you know it's about to get real. Like, so many good Batman nightclub scenes exist. Like this, I'm pretty sure there's one in The Dark Knight. Yes, there is. I just watched the Superman animated series episodes with where they introduce Batman, and he has a nightclub scene, because of course he does. And I'm sure there are more that I can't think of off the top of my head. Let's see, I said Bruce a freak for real. That must have been when he's watching Selena undress. Which, I think I liked that scene for multiple reasons. Not Zoe Kravitz, anyway, I like that scene because, like, it shows Batman, like, kind of the moral grayness of... I'm not picking my nose, I'm just scratching it under the mask. The moral grayness of it, like, it's kind of weird, and it's supposed to be kind of weird. You're supposed to get kind of this icky feeling from him watching her, right? Kind of like the icky feeling from near the end of The Dark Knight, right? When he's doing that very morally questionable thing with the cell phones and the echolocation or whatever, right? Like, very much evoking the Patriot Act. That's Dark Knight's an episode for another day. But it does that, and also it parallels the earlier scene of Riddler also stalking people through the binoculars, right? And Batman kind of has this theme of voyeurism, I guess, throughout the movie, like watching people, you know, like through the contact camera lens, through the binoculars, and just all throughout the thingy, you know? It's very interesting, very interesting. Kinky fight scene meeting Selena. True. She did seem upset back at your place. I'm like, it's so much of his dialogue with Selena in this. I'm like, I don't want to call him like special, but like he's not the most socially adept tool in the shed. You know what I mean? But like real. Selena flirts with him so hard. I have a thing about strays. That's so funny. Oh, when he asks Selena, like, look at me, and then there's like a long tense moment with him looking at her, but he's just looking at the contact lens. He goes, looks good here. Coulson, the lawyer, the district attorney, wiping the fog off the windshield, and then Riddler's in the back seat. It's so Halloween, you know, so Carpenter. That's another next week's episode, actually. Little teaser, little spoiler for you. Oh, Riddler up top in the funeral, silhouetted against the window. That's so tough. Oh my gosh. I think that shot was in the trailer, the first trailer. I remember I was watching the DC Fandom live stream when that trailer dropped, and it was so worth it. Oh my gosh. It's one of my favorite trailers ever. Some of my favorite reveal, and they weren't even done filming the movie yet, and it still didn't come out for like a year, 2 years, and it was so amazing, and the hype was so worth it. The hype was so worth it, and there are a lot of movies I can't say that for. Deadpool hype was worth it, I suppose. Guardians 3, John Wick 4. Anyway, We got you on assaulting a police officer. You got me on assaulting 3. That's funny. I like him. I like his just little bat quips, you know? Oh my gosh, when he just decks Gordon, that's so funny. You punched me in the face. Jeffrey Wright is kind of silly in this movie, but I dig it. Like, I dig his kind of almost over-the-top copness. You know, it's cool. It's cool. I like him. And I love Jeffrey Wright in general. I saw him in American Fiction this year. That was the first movie I saw in theaters this year, was American Fiction. And it was great. I love that movie. But yeah, when he just decks Gordon, that's so... it's so funny. It makes me laugh every time. The brief moment where he gets... Oh, yeah, when he gets up to the edge of the police station roof. It's so awesome because he's not perfect yet. He still has this, like, pang of fear, of hesitation when he gets up to that edge, right? But he gets over it because he has to. Because that's Batman. It's not that he doesn't have fear. It's that he gets over that fear. Like Daredevil, you know? Or I guess Daredevil's like him. And I think I talked about the crash landing, right? Like, he's a learning Batman. He's year 2. He's not perfect yet. He still messes up a lot. And that's okay. That's cool. He's learning. Could have at least pulled that punch, man. I did. The Batmobile. Let's talk about the Batmobile. It's one of the simpler ones we've had in live action. But, like, the sound design... when he initially turns the engine on, oh my gosh, every time I'm just freaking out. I'm like, ah! And Colin Farrell Penguin is just like scared out of his mind, and like, because who wouldn't be? It sounds like it's like a demon coming from the shadows. And the chase scene's really cool, but, like, really questionable. Like, there were definitely a lot of casualties there. But it's fine. The upside-down shot with the fire in the background at the end of that chase. It's so cool! It's so cool! Like, and I only realized on this watch, like, he's like a bat. He's on the ceiling. Like a bat. Because the floor is the ground is the ceiling because it's upside down. It's so cool. And Penguin waddles away like a penguin when he's still tied up and they leave him alone. It's awesome. It's awesome. I talked a little bit about the religious symbolism. The baptism I definitely talked about. Because that's one of my favorite things about this movie. I don't know if I talked about sins of the father. Sins of the father will be passed on to those of the son, like original sin, right? With Adam eating the apple, and so the sin is passed on to every human. And there's some of those religious themes, right? And I think Matt Reeves is or was Catholic, so that's kind of what led to those themes being included. So I appreciate that from him. And yeah, it's really interesting to think about, like, does Bruce, like, was Bruce's father a good man? And they do leave it a little bit ambiguous, but, like, Alfred was probably telling the truth. Like, he didn't know he was going to kill him. He just wanted to scare him a little bit, and he should have known, but he didn't. And he was at the end of the day a good man. But he did die, and they do leave it in. Like, I do prefer his origin to be like, it's not a conspiracy, it just happened. Like, it could happen to any person, any kid on the street, any family. But I am okay with them leaving it ambiguous, like whether or not it was an organized hit, or it was like just a random guy, or was a Maroni, or whatever, you know? But yeah, those religious themes, it would be really, I'd like to dive into the original sin things. I can get my dad back on the pod one of these days, maybe, because he's a pastor, so. Pattinson's acting when he's trying to call Alfred is awesome. Like, he's doing the Bruce Wayne voice, which the difference between the Bruce and Batman voice is a lot more subtle than we've seen in, like, Affleck and Bale, like we've gotten used to, right? But it's so good. Like, it's a clear difference. You can tell when he's one or the other. And you can tell he's being Bruce. And because he's, like, scared. He is not... He knows something bad is about to happen. But it already has. And it's such a good misdirect. That's an awesome misdirect. Oh my gosh. These shots of I thought they had a lot of balls for doing that. I was convinced they might have killed Alfred for a second. I was terrified they might have killed Alfred for a second. Because one, he's Alfred, and two, I really needed to see more of this Alfred. Like, come on, it's Andy Serkis. And a part of me is like, oh, they didn't have the balls to kill him off, but I do more. I think my thankfulness that Alfred's not dead overcomes that. You know, the shots of Batman overlooking the city when he meets Selina at sunrise are really dope. Are you just hideously scarred? Oh yeah, I talked about that one, didn't I? Are you just hideously scarred? Yeah. It's funny, but it's also true. Oh, that's the end of that page. Okay. It's been 20 minutes. This episode's going to be a long one. Long one for a long movie. Sometimes I wonder... No, you know what? No. This movie is a perfect length. And, you know, it could... I feel like it's almost separated into, like, different... I mean, it's definitely separated into acts. I feel like you could separate it into, like, a 3-episode miniseries. It almost feels like one, right? Like, these different beginnings and ends to different chapters of the story. Like a comic book, right? Maybe it's like a trade paperback. You know, speaking of comics, I'd love to get my hands on the one Paul Dano wrote, Riddler Year One, I believe. Which, if you don't know, Paul Dano wrote, like, a comic for his Riddler in this movie, Riddler Year One, talking about, like, his origin story. And I'd love to read that at some point. I'm sure it's very interesting. Oh, the reporter who discovered the Martha Wayne scandal in the movie was an Elliot, which is perhaps setting up Hush, which is a pretty good Batman story. I'm a fan. I haven't seen the animated one, but I would be curious to see them do Hush in live action. Oh, Carmine talks about when fear isn't enough to Bruce in regards to why he killed the reporter, and is fear enough for Bruce? Spoiler alert, no, as we find out at the end of the movie. Maybe I brought that up. I don't think I did. Oh, I like how he unlocks his parents' room. Like, there's been a lock on it, and he unlocks it, finally unlocking a long hidden part of his past, you know? Like, opening that door. I need to stop saying, you know, and I need to stop saying, like. There are a lot of things I need to stop doing. It's fine, it's whatever. The lighting when Bruce talks to Alfred in the hospital has half of his face more lit than the other, emphasizing his duality and how split he feels knowing what he knows about Thomas. The implication that this Alfred taught Bruce to fight is very interesting. Kravitz's facial expressions during the recorded phone call where Carmine Falcone strangles her girlfriend, whatever. Her facial expressions are amazing. She does such an excellent job in this film. I like how Selina gives Falcone his signature scars. And oh my gosh, when he takes the gun from her saying, "You've paid enough." Damn. I definitely mentioned Batman's almost a Christ figure in this movie. And, like, there he is. He's giving her forgiveness. You know, like, not forgiveness, like redemption. He's giving her a chance, you know, to be better. You've paid enough. She's paid enough for what she's done. Or what he's... I don't know. It's really interesting. The bat in the Riddler's apartment's cage. The Riddler's apartment has a bat in a cage. Screaming, clawing, trying desperately to get out. That's so interesting to me. Like, I almost wonder, is it like a representation of Batman himself? Like, screaming to get out, clawing, trying, just this beast, this demon inside him trying to escape. Because that man has some demons. My goodness gracious. He's got like 500 followers. Like, I know guys from school with more than that. I asked Jett, them if the misdirect with the truth unmasked, it was, and I know who you are, etc., was clever or manipulative or both. I think they misinterpreted the question a little bit, and that's a little bit on me. I meant, like, is it a clever misdirect on the filmmaker's part, or was it a little manipulative? I think it was a little bit of both. Like, it definitely was manipulative, but, like, I dig it. I think it's awesome. I get a kick out of it every time, and how his whole manner changes, his mannerisms, sorry. It is a cool misdirect. This movie has a lot of cool misdirects. It's such a good thriller. Bruce Wayne. He's so good. Carpet Tucker I talked about. Love that. Riddler, I definitely asked them why he tries to kill Real, who's trying to stop corruption. I think Grayson had a lot of good things to say about it. And, like, I think it's true. And, like, Riddler, this man is just so jaded with these continuous promises of renewal and change at this point that he just can't believe anyone isn't corrupt or doesn't have some ulterior motive. That is, I like how in the final scene in the water, there are these blue and red lights of the cop car, right? The only light source in there. And then they fade out, and Batman's red light comes in. It's the only one left. His light is the only one remaining after all others have fizzled out. Leading the others with the light is such a good shot. In love with both uses of something in the way in this movie. And I have to become more. People need hope. And people do need hope. And I love the message of this film. And I've said just about all I want to say. So, The Batman. 2022. One of my favorite movies of all time. It's maybe not top 10, but top 50 probably. Top 5 for superheroes, certainly. And I could talk about it all day, watch it all day, look at it all day. It's so just nice. It's almost a comfort movie for me. And I am very much in love with The Batman. And one more thing I would like to mention. So this movie was originally supposed to be Ben Affleck's solo Batman movie. It was in development hell for a long time. Finally, Ben Affleck left the project as he was going to star and direct in it. Finally, he left as the director. Then eventually he left as the star, and it got completely retooled into what became The Batman, which is a masterpiece, and I love it so much, and I'm so glad it turned out the way it did. But I will always kind of wonder how that Ben Affleck movie would have turned out, because from what has been said about it, and like the script, or the story, I don't know if there was a finished script or not, it would have been pretty cool. It's been described as James Bond-esque, which I love James Bond. The villain would have been Deathstroke, who would have been Joe Manganiello. I'm butchering that, definitely. The guy who played Flash Thompson in the Raimi Spider-Man movie. And it would have been really cool to see, I'm sure. And I do think Ben Affleck was a great Batman that got done so dirty by Zack Snyder. But that being said, I'm very happy the Batman turned out the way it did. Thank you very much for listening. And I mentioned this earlier. Happy Halloween. Next episode, I think I'll try to post on Halloween. It will be recorded with a friend of mine, probably. We will be talking about 1978's Halloween, directed by John Carpenter, one of my favorite directors. And that's going to be a good one. We're going to have fun with that, I think. And thank you very much for listening to this episode of the Pulp Diction podcast. Sorry, I keep thinking about the Batman because I feel like there's more I should say, but I've been talking for an extra half hour since, not half an hour, not quite half an hour, but close enough to half an hour that I can call it half an hour. I've been talking for a long time since the initial school recordings, which lasted about 40-something minutes, I believe, and those were really fun, and I'm glad we got to do that. And thank you, Jett and Grayson, for helping me with that. They're not going to listen to this. They never listen to these, but I love them anyway. Thank you for listening and or watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Hit the bell for notifications every time there's a new one. Remember to follow if you're listening on Spotify. Rate us 5 stars, please, and thank you. We're on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. Follow my Letterboxd to see more of my movie opinions. I've written a review or two on The Batman. I think they're pretty good. The Batman was one of the first ones I wrote on Letterboxd, actually. So it's a little rough around the edges, that review, but I'm still proud of it. And yeah, on Instagram. And if you know me in real life, just go ahead and ask me if you want to do an episode. Please don't ask me if you want to do an episode if you don't know me in real life, because I think that would be weird. And that will be all for today. Goodbye. I'm trying to do a Riddler thing. It's not really working. Goodbye.